What's going on, everyone? Gormy here. Today, I'm bringing you guys the top 10 saves in Italy for FM23. We're going to be covering Serie C, Serie B, and Serie A. And there are plenty of teams that are deserving to be on this list, but none more than the top 10 that we got today. So if you guys happen to enjoy today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so want to hit that sub button. Without further ado, let's get into the first club. Coming in at number 10, it's Impali. Now, I am from the US, so if I butcher some of these names, please forgive me. Doing my best. But Impali in Serie A, they are freshly promoted, and the teams that they came up with, I definitely think they are one of the better teams, but they have a boatload of players in on loan. So their main goal, your main goal, the first season is definitely going to be surviving within Serie A because there are some very, very talented teams within Serie A. You will probably finish around middle of the pack in your first season with this club. They are a club that tend to bounce up and down, kind of a yo-yo club between Serie A and Serie B. So your goal, try and make sure that they survive season one and then help them become an established team within the top league in Italy. Now, when we get looking at the facilities, they've got average training facilities, but good youth facilities. Then they have good academy coaching and average youth recruitment. So definitely want to improve the training facilities. They do have good youth facilities and good youth academy coaching, average youth recruitment. So when you do get that odd, pretty good player through early days, they are going to have some good coaching. So early days, definitely try and focus on developing some players to either bring up to the first team or sell on for a profit. Coming in at number 9, it's Is Verona. Now, this is another yo-yo club that early 2000s, they were up in Serie A. Then they took a sharp dive down to Serie C. And then towards the turn of the last decade, they started making their way back up to Serie A, but have been up and down all around within recent years. Your goal, once again, with this club is to make them become an established club. They definitely have a young player that can help you do that. It's just the hard thing is going to be keeping a hold of him. I kind of think they're kind of like Nottingham Forest right now because Nottingham Forest brought in, I believe it was like 22 players within this transfer window that just ended yesterday or the day before from me recording this. And I mean, this team, they have an army of players at your disposal, but one player is more important than anyone in this team. That player is a former Man City player. His name is Ivan Ilic. He is 20 years old, young Serbian, very well-rounded, can play attacking midfield, central midfield, or defensive midfield. I personally would play this guy as a central midfielder on attack or as an attacking midfielder or shadow striker. Try and build your offense around him early days. Once again, your main challenge, besides staying up and making sure that you become an established club, is keeping a hold of this kid because he is your golden ticket. So when it comes to their facilities, they've got good training facilities and good youth facilities, but adequate academy coaching and adequate youth recruitment. So junior coaching, youth recruitment-wise, definitely improve there, but good training facilities, good youth facilities, definitely going to help Ivan Ilic early days with his development and plenty of other youngsters that are at the club as well. So training facilities, youth facility-wise, you're fine, but junior coaching, youth recruitment, you'll definitely want to improve that sooner rather than later. Coming in at number 8, it's Crotone. Now, Crotone are an interesting club. One being because they were in Serie A this past season, but now find themselves in Serie C. So if you follow Italian football, please let me know why they're in Serie C, because I am going to guess that it is either financial reasons, squad registration reasons, financial fair play, or they did something to deserve to go down to Serie C. Because, I mean, going from the top division to the third division, that's a massive drop. Your goal, obviously, with the save, get them back to Serie A. This is a club that has seen, in my opinion, a meteoric rise over the years because they weren't really one of the best clubs within Italy early 2000s. And then the past decade, they started seeing themselves slowly creep their way towards Serie A. They finally get up there, and then this happens. So try and get them back up to Serie A and make them an established Italian top flight club. Now, when it comes to their training facilities, they do have good training facilities. So for a club at this level, that's going to be nice to have. But average youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, and adequate youth recruitment, those are definitely going to be things that are kind of expected at the Serie C level. But those are definitely areas that once you start getting promoted and making more money, those are the areas that you definitely want to improve. Try and focus on some free signings and loan signings to help you early days within the save as well. Coming in at number 7, it's Palermo. Palermo have produced some pretty solid talents over the years, such as Paulo Dybala and Andrea Bellotti, but unfortunately, once they sold them on, they hit some pretty rough times, went down to Serie B, and I'm pretty sure they had some financial issues, or it was player registration, something along those lines, probably that Crotone has been having to deal with, and they went down to Serie D, but they have just gotten themselves promoted back up to Serie B because they hit back-to-back promotions. And this club is definitely one on the rise because I'm pretty sure they have investment from the Manchester City group. Now, this is a team, once again, that you kind of have an army at your disposal of players. You have plenty of players at your disposal, and you have some pretty solid ones. The majority of them are here on loan. So they are definitely focusing on, okay, let's survive the first season and then build from there in Serie B. When it comes to their facilities, they have great training facilities and good youth facilities. So that's amazing to have already when you are at a Serie B level. And then they have adequate academic coaching and adequate youth recruitment. So you definitely want to improve there. But training facility wise, you are definitely going to be able to develop your players pretty quickly and definitely pretty well within the early days of your save. Coming in at number 6, it's Lecce. Now, Lecce, they previously had just been relegated to Serie B, but just bounced right back up to Serie A. Hopefully, with you at the helm, they can become an established club within Serie A. None of these clubs today really are, juggernauts for you guys to take over, but they do have some solid players for you to help stabilize the club season 1 and then build on from there. One of those players being Samuel Umtiti on loan from Barcelona. He will definitely be a solid player for a club like this, and playing at that Serie A level, having a player like this with some veteran leadership, definitely going to be worthwhile. And another center back, Marin Pangracic. He was actually on loan at Dortmund, I believe, this previous season. I might be wrong. But he is a solid center back, so you have 2 loanees for you at center back. You're definitely going to want to bring in a permanent long-term solution there come January or the end of the first season. But having these 2 players in the back for you, definitely some solid building blocks for you to build off of for a solid first season with Lecce. And when we get to facilities, they have great training facilities, average youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, and average youth recruitment. So youth-wise, junior coaching and youth recruitment definitely can improve there, but having great training facilities for the first team, nothing wrong with that. Coming in at number 5 is Vicenza. Unfortunately, cannot find a logo for them, so that's why there's no art leading into this one. But they are a pretty solid club within Serie C. They have a decent amount of money right now in FM22 at £1.28 million, so maybe they have a decent chunk of change in FM23 as well. Help them push on for Serie B competition and then eventually get to the Serie A. They're a club out of the clubs that I had previously mentioned that I think can definitely have a fast track to rise to fame with you at the helm for sure. And they do have some solid players at this level for you to really have a decent future with. Now, one player that will help you right off the bat, especially if you like using wingbacks, is Jordan Lukaku. Jordan Lukaku is going to be very important for you with this save within the first year. Try and hang on to him. Maybe you can land him on loan for another season if you go up to Serie B. Maybe the club will allow you to do that because he is pacey, he's got some playmaking ability, and he is definitely a player that you want to utilize on that left side. And then another player, he's a youngin from Slovenia. I believe his name is pronounced Chas Begic. He is very well-rounded, very versatile, can play on the left wing, right wing, and down the middle. I would probably play him either off the left wing as an inverted winger or inside forward, and then maybe as a shadow striker as well. Maybe if you develop him a little bit defensively as a central midfielder, you could play him there. But he's 6'1" and he is pretty young, so this is a guy that you definitely could build around at Vicenza. Getting to the facilities, they have great training facilities, average youth facilities, average academy coaching, and adequate youth recruitment. So like a lot of these other clubs, you definitely want to improve youth-wise, but training facilities-wise, great to have that for the first team. Coming in at number 4, it's Parma. Parma are a pretty historic club within Italy and have fallen on some hard times, finding themselves down in Serie B, but under your tutelage, you can definitely bring them back to the top of the Serie A. They have an absolute Italian legend in Gianluigi Buffon in net, so you have an incredible goalkeeper for the Serie B level, and some pretty solid players on the team as well. In FM22, I know that they had a decent amount in the transfer budget right off the rip. Hopefully FM23, they have the same thing. And this is a club that definitely can have a very fast rise to fame once again under your tutelage. Now, I said previously that they have Gianluigi Buffon, who is a phenomenal goalkeeper at the Serie B level, but they also have Lautaro Valenti, who is a very solid center back. He's young and definitely a rock in the back to build around. They also have a winger by the name of Dennis Mann, who is very solid. He's got some pace to him, and in a lot of my saves, he ends up getting himself major moves to big-time clubs. So this is a guy that you definitely want to focus around in the attack because he is a very solid option. And for a left-back position, you've got Vasilis Zagaritis. He is a very solid young Greek player who has some playmaking ability to his game, pretty solid all around. And I definitely think that with this Parma side, with the young talents that they have at their disposal, you are going to have an absolute juggernaut on your hands in no time. Now, one thing that we have not seen yet with any facility rating for any of these clubs is an excellent training facilities. Parma have excellent training facilities, which is phenomenal to have at Serie B level and even at Serie A level, because some clubs, the Serie A level, do not have that, as we have seen previously. And they do have average youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, adequate youth recruitment, so definitely can improve there. But when it comes to the training facilities for the first team, that is a godsend to have. Coming in at number 3, it's Pro Vercelli. Now, Pro Vercelli, a lot of you may not know, is actually one of the most successful clubs within Italy. They currently find themselves down in Serie C, but they have won the Serie A title 7 times. That is pretty impressive. The most recent one, though, was in 1922. So it's been 100 years since they have lifted the Serie A title. So your job, get them out of Serie C, get them through Serie B, get them to the top tier in Italy, and make them juggernauts once again in Italian football. Now, when it comes to training facilities, you have good training facilities and good youth facilities, which will definitely help a club like this because they don't have the best first team. You're definitely going to want to improve the first team through free signings and loans, and having good training facilities, good youth facilities is definitely going to help you out because you'll be able to develop those players they bring in on a free and sell them on for a profit, which, once again, these training facilities are going to help you do. Junior coaching wise and youth recruitment wise, not the greatest, so definitely improve there in the future. But early days, try and focus on developing the players that are already there that you feel definitely have a spot within your team in Serie B, maybe even Serie A as well. Coming in at number 2, it's Cagliari. Now, this club just saw themselves relegated to Serie B, unfortunately, but they still have a lot of pretty solid players, one being Nahitan Nandes, that you can definitely build around and will be very important once you get back up to the Serie A. Now, being that they are going to be one of the big fish in Serie B, this will probably be a pretty popular save to do come FM23, and having a player like Nahitan Nandes is going to be very important, but being that he is going to be one of the best players within the division, it's going to be very hard to hold on to him because, I mean, being on $40K a week, he is definitely going to want to move on so that he can get paid the big bucks still, because going down, Come FM23, his wage is probably going to drop a little bit. It's currently at 40K because I'm on FM22 doing this, but he is definitely probably going to want to move on. He is a very versatile player and a very important player all around for you to be able to hold on to. If you do end up having to move him on, though, he will bring you in a pretty penny. A player that could be important early days for you as well, that could play right back, right wing back, or right midfield, is Gabriel Zappa. He is a young Italian right back who is pretty well rounded. So definitely try and keep him around. But he's another player that if he wants to move on, you can definitely get a pretty penny for him as well. Now getting to their facilities, they have great training facilities and good youth facilities, adequate academy coaching, and average youth recruitment. Now, training facilities, youth facilities, phenomenal to have. Junior coaching, youth recruitment, once again, you want to improve there. A lot of these clubs you're going to want to improve there. But having great training facilities, good youth facilities, you're going to be able to develop players that you bring in. And once you get back up to Serie A, that's definitely a quality level to have your training facilities at. Coming in at number 1, it's Genoa. Now, Genoa are a club, to me, they are a club that should never be relegated from Serie A. They have won it, I believe, 9 times in their history, but the most recent is like the 1920s. But they are a club that has history. Yes, it's old history, but it's still a very important club to Italian football. And I know the fans are besides themselves with going down to Serie B. They play in a almost 37,000 seater stadium. So a 37,000 seater stadium in Serie B, it doesn't seem right. So your job, get Genoa back up to Serie A and then make them the biggest club in Italy. Now with Genoa, they are going to be one of the big fish like Cagliari and Serie B, so they will be one of the more popular saves to do within Italy. They are going to have a pretty decent amount in the transfer budget, I have a feeling, but they have some solid youngsters to build around. So you don't really need to do a major overhaul of the squad. Yes, once you get back to the Serie A, you're going to want to bring in players to make sure that you stay up. But they have some solid youngsters, and a lot of them have value. So if there is a player that you want to move on, definitely feel free to do so because you will be able to bring in a decent amount of money for them. Now, Genoa, they have excellent training facilities. Great youth facilities, good academy coaching, and average youth recruitment. The only thing you need to improve, in my opinion, first is that average youth recruitment, and then you go on from there. But having excellent training facilities, that's phenomenal to have at the Serie B level. Great youth facilities, same thing. Good academy coaching, that is something that I don't think we have seen this entire top 10. So Genoa definitely, probably, in my opinion, the club that I would go with besides Pro Vercelli, because I find myself drawn to Pro Vercelli to want to do a save with them. But Genoa definitely going to be one of the more fun saves to do, and they need saving. The fans want to see this club succeed, and he will most definitely be able to bring it to them come FM23. Well, that wraps up today's top 10 clubs to do come FM23. I hope you give some of these clubs a go here in Italy. Italy is a very fun country to manage in. Yes, you don't have a whole lot of foreign player slots, but hey, you get to kind of focus on having Italian talent and big-time European talents at the club. So definitely give some of these clubs a go. If you guys happen to enjoy today's video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button. Also, the next top 10 video for clubs to manage in FM23 will be in France, so keep your eyes out for that one. But until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.